Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, on today's episode of Bullet Points, we're going to talk about something from north of the border. Canada, eh? Now, Canadians are much more advanced in their gun control than we are. They have a lot more restrictions, and they've really done a lot to curtail legal gun ownership in Canada. But this is an opinion piece out of Montreal. Just like the United States, they are having a rise in violent crime at the gang and criminal level, but not at the legal level. So this opinion article actually goes into attacking legal gun ownership as well, because as we've always said in the United States on the gun front, gun rights are gun rights. If you give one away, they're going to take the rest of them. You give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. And this is a perfect example of gun control, and the end result and the end desire is to take all of the guns. The idea that they only want to curtail a few to protect a few because you can never stop evil from doing evil with whatever's available. We've done this ad nauseum. But listen to this article. It's linked in the description box below. And this is an opinion piece that actually strikes at the true desires of the gun controlling left internationally, but also here in the United States. Let's dive in. All right, so opinion. Take aim at legal guns too and fight against violence. So they're just dropping the idea of it's only bad people doing bad things. Now it's all guns. Montreal is facing an emerging armed gang violence, often involving smuggled handguns, but that's far from the full story, and this is where it starts to kind of go into the setup. In a recent opinion piece in the Gazette, again the Montreal Gazette, Concordia political science associate professor Noah Schwartz calls for gun bans are among typical, quote, knee-jerk reactions to gun violence that drain precious resources that could better be invested in long-term solutions to crime and violence in Canada. Same argument in the United States. Well, this guy does not like, the author of this opinion piece does not like that. Schwartz seems to have accepted the argument, often presented by the gun lobby, that gun violence is most limited to criminal gangs, quote, in specific neighborhoods, and that, quote, licensed and vetted gun owners are already heavily regulated enough. 100% true. But now listen to how this gun controlling opinion piece starts to unravel and shows you that the gun control does not work internationally as well in this nation. But check this out. This is where they kind of go into this little building of the case. A short internet search reveals that many official reports showing that crime guns vary substantially from one location to another. For example, while the majority of guns seized in Toronto are smuggled, this is not true for Quebec or Western provinces, where most seized firearms are long guns, often stolen from legal gun owners. Again, keep in mind, the idea here is to besmirch all guns, because guns are the problem. We should go after legal guns too, because they're being stolen. That's what they're going with here. The guns shouldn't exist. If the guns didn't exist, they couldn't be stolen. If the guns didn't exist, criminals wouldn't use them. That's the idea here. But they unravel their entire point by that one paragraph. But let's keep going. I'm going to show you what their true intentions are. They come out and say it, and then I'm going to show you how it's failing in Canada, and it would fail here just the same. This is a good one for reference. Handguns, assault weapons, and large capacity magazines are designed to kill people, and that's why victims of crimes committed with these weapons are calling for the government to ban them. Ban them. All of them. Their risks outweigh their benefits, maybe in Canada, but here in the United States, the risk guarantees freedom. That's the whole point. But they don't have that in Canada, so that's one of the blessings of the Second Amendment. Consider the following while pondering the claim that our gun control laws, quote, have hit a point of diminishing returns. This is where they're going to say, they're starting to build the case that, no, we need more gun laws. There's not a point of diminishing returns. Listen to this about how it's failing in Canada. They're using the existing gun control to disprove gun control to request more gun control. All right. 1. Most assault weapons were technically prohibited in May of 2020, but nothing has really changed on the ground. These tens of thousands of military-style weapons remain in the hands of current owners. Does that sound familiar? We're not going to take your guns. You can keep your guns. You just can't manufacture more. Does that sound exactly like American gun control politicians? Yes, it does. 2. There's been no new measure since 1951 to rein in the proliferation of handguns. Proliferation of handguns. Does that sound familiar? Exactly what they say here in the United States. Proliferation of gun violence. Sound familiar? Now numbering more than 1 million and increasing exponentially with record growth in sales. In fact, more than half of the current handguns circulating in Canada were purchased in the past 10 years. Now listen to these last two, and it's identical. Contrary to the oft-quoted argument that Canada's 2 million gun owners are vetted daily by the Firearms Incident Police system, incidents that should be flagged are not systematically entered into the system in many provinces, resulting in preventable deaths, especially domestic homicides. So the system is already in place. It already exists across the entire board. It's just not working because people aren't putting it in there. It's a government bureaucracy system. Of course it's not working. It's staffed by the lowest bidder, by people who are guaranteed jobs who don't really have an ambition to go forward. In most cases, some do. But that's what's happening here. It's failing. Now they start referencing our horrible, terrible gun as a savior because we have a good tracking system. You can't make this up. Unlike the US, which has an extensive, uniform, and centralized gun tracing program, I thought we had no gun control and there was guns on the streets and it was the Wild Wild West. They can't keep their story straight. Canada's gun tracing data consists of incomplete and one-time piecemeal investigations, made more difficult by the destruction of long gun registry and the failure to centralize commercial sales records, which are not even implemented despite a law to the effect passed in 2019. This entire article is all about how gun control fails and it cannot work, so we're just going to ban everything because we just simply can't do it. The desired outcome of the leftist gun controllers internationally. This is a perfect piece to see exactly what they want to do and how they're going to do it in the future if we let them in this country. Now, we're not going to, because we're going to pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to the next generation. But that's what I have for you on today's bullet points, and I will see you at the 9 p.m. segment. This is Braden, signing out.